It's Porsche Macan time here at Autogefühl with Thomas and the new revised Porsche Macan GTS. This will be the new top model, but we also have a Macan S for you, and we'll tell you what changes are to be expected, and I'll also tell you about, wait a minute, isn't the Porsche Macan supposed to come as all electric? Yes, it will be, but that will be in 2023, and Porsche decided to offer the normal ICE Porsche Macan with a combustion engine still at the same time, but then in this generation. So it means, as it stands here right now, this will be the final Porsche Macan version with the combustion engine. The all-new model with an all-electric platform, but you will still be able to get this one then on a parallel basis. And what did they do? The turbo is basically now the GTS power-wise, and the GTS is power-wise now the S. So it means power revised update for all the models. The GTS now the top model, and you can see here in the front, really interesting with a new structure right there. It has kind of a stamped structure inside here, and the whole part of the GTS here in this area, in the middle part, is all blacked out. You'll see a difference when we show you the Macan S model. Then we have this carmine red color, as you know, typical paint for the GTS, but of course other paints are possible. It starts automatically with the dynamic LED system then. The normal base LED is now no more, so also more standard equipment for the Macan. And the whole front has been revised. Indeed, you've maybe already seen it. It has a more width stance overall. The length is still at 4.69 m or 185 inches, but there are new wheel designs. It starts now from 19 inch and up to 21 inch. They are also standard here for the GTS model, biggest one available. Red brake calipers really fitting to that here with the black wheel design, also typical for the GTS. And it stays here with the typical GTS insert right there in the lower part. And this typical Macan, really strong shoulder shape. But when we move over to the Macan S, that's really interesting. First of all, here we have, the brighter wheels. So we'd like to know from you, which one is fitting better, do you think? Here, the brighter wheels or the black wheels for the Macan? And the Macan S also gets this new stamped-in structure here then as the side insert. And when you feel it, it really feels very interesting. So might be another element to show off to your friends. And this is the Macan S from the front in a new color, papaya. Really tasty, right? So you can see, very interesting that here this middle part, this is painted in vehicle color, whereas the GTS is all blacked out in this area here. But at the rear, it's completely different. Because the Macan S here at the rear has this black diffuser style. Here, this part, all in black and also completely redesigned. Whereas the Macan GTS then has a painted spoiler right here, and then once again the lower part is in black again and with the stamped structure. And sports exhaust, you can see it here in black styling. Real exhaust, no fake at all, 4 pipes overall. I would say, let's listen. Why is the design so fluent in the front for the Porsche Macan? Well, there are no gaps to be spotted because the headlamps are cut out here. Really spectacular, of course, when you open the hood then. And the turbo is no more. The GTS is now the top model. 2.9 liter V6 bi-turbo, now with 440 horsepower, 60 horsepower plus, so massively more power. And the acceleration figure will be less than 4.5 seconds. And the Macan S will now also get the 2.9 liter V6 bi-turbo. That's also big news. Also with a horsepower upgrade now at 380 horsepower. Less than 5 seconds is the acceleration figure right here then. And also the base engine, the 2 liter 4-cylinder, will get a horsepower upgrade now at 265 horsepower. And then approximately 6.5 seconds will be the acceleration figure. And if you say like, 4-cylinder in the Porsche Macan, 2 liter, it's a Golf engine. Yes, but the thing is, most Porsche Macan worldwide will be sold with this engine, even most Porsche overall. It's the Porsche Macan with the 2 liter 4-cylinder because of the big Chinese sales. Suspension-wise, next to the adaptive suspension, you can also get an air suspension. It is standard here for the GTS, and then with a sporty setup to the GTS, even sportier now, top-of-the-line sports model. And this is the car key, typical Porsche car key, always beautiful, this 911 form. door closing sound. Yeah, it sounds quite solid. And the GTS is once again defined by the use of microfiber. And they now call it Racetex because it's not supplied by Alcantara anymore, but it also fits really nicely. Then he has a brushed aluminum insert. So Racetex now for the Alcantara or microfiber, and Sportex would be a fabric surface, and the base seat would be Sportex fabric on the inside and the leatherette on the outside. So the base seat in all the Macan, both for Macan and Macan S, is animal free. That's good news, definitely cool. This here GTS seat, then the microfiber Racetex on the middle part, and the outside is animal skin. So if you want to go animal free, then the GTS is not for you, then you go for the Macan S, but as I said, meanwhile also the same base engine. You can also get the steering wheel for all models here in the Racetex microfiber. So this would be a way to get the Macan completely animal free. That's pretty cool. Even the shifting lever then is in this case with the Racetex, again also available for the other Macan models. Getting inside, it's not the biggest SUV. That would be the Cayenne, the bigger brother of course. Putting the key on the left side is always pretty cool and unique. But you already have a grown-up SUV seating position here with a lot of adjustment here for the front, for the side parts and so on. So everything adjusted electronically. New steering wheel from 911 inspired style here also with the screws. Then you could also lift it up here like this. So once again, super sporty atmosphere. Oh, they've done something to the infotainment system. Let's take a closer look. Here we go with the cockpit overview, and you can see here in the 10.9-inch infotainment system, they have removed some of the hotkeys. They are now inside the software. Sue more deals to the software itself, but gladly they kept some buttons. For example, here the manual volume knob, and here also on the right side a knob to zoom in and out. So that's good. And also the climate unit here is still available with the manual control. And there's more analog stuff because the sports chrono clock here, there we go, is now standard also on all base models. That's good. And here we have, as I mentioned, the new shifting lever. It's a little bit shorter and sporty and thicker somehow. And when you have this option, or in the GTS, also then with the Racetex microfiber for a very good grip. Here then a lot of capacitive controls, but with haptic feedback. For example, also for the exhaust. We've shown that to you earlier. And then cup holders are adaptive like this. Yeah, this is probably the smoker's package, but I mean, I don't care if you smoke or not, but don't do it in a car. Or what do you think? And here also a nice microfiber cover for the armrest, can be put up and down like this. And then we have a USB charging station, but also inductive charging. Infotainment, really wide display, and see here, responsiveness actually also quite okay. Then take a look at the car menu. This is always very interesting because you can check some vehicle options and with nice visualizations here inside. And then the Apple CarPlay integration like this. And sound check of the optional Burmester sound system. Whoa, this has really a great depth to it. Nice. Instruments, classic analog in the middle part, red background then from the GTS models. And on the right side you can switch around the views right there and also have this GPS integration like you've seen. There we go. But the all-wheel drive distribution is always very cool to see as well, like this. And switching the driving modes possible at the steering wheel with a knob, and then you can also see the modes right here. And short comparison to the Macan S interior. First of all, we have these seats in here. They're a little bit more open, so not as sporty as the GTS seats. And let me take a seat right there to test it really. How's the difference? This seat then here is available, as I said earlier, with the Sportex fabric on the inside and the leatherette on the outside. Not in this case here as we see it at the moment. But yeah, indeed. So this is a little bit more open. You still have a lot of adjustments and so on. But if you want more comfort, then do not go for the GTS, go for the Macan or the Macan S, and you also have the more open seat and also with the animal-free option. Well, and actually, this would also be my tip for the day. Go for Macan S to have the six-cylinder then already. Then you can also go with these a little more comfortable, more open seat. And Macan S, of course, also a little bit less expensive than the GTS. By the way, here in this vehicle, also the Bose sound system, but I've tested it and I think the sound's also really awesome. The Burmester sound system maybe a little bit more bass heavy, but this one here is already totally fine. Rear seating, of course, shouldn't miss in any Autogefühl test that you know what you can calculate with. Oh, by the way, you've seen here at the back part of the seat, that looks like an old coach, like, you know, old travel bus. A little bit too old school, isn't it? So let's get inside. And here we go, when the seat is as I would be driving. It works for 4 tall adults, one weighs 86 or 6'1", and headroom also in the rear, yeah, gets close, but also still works barely. So yeah, once again, for 4 tall adults, it works. Also not too much, not too plentiful of space. I also have the Racetex microfiber inserts here. Oh, you can also comp it in 2 different directions. Oh, good boy. And then you have the cup holders right there. And the middle console, well, yeah, I mean, huge middle tunnel, definitely. So in the middle part, you can sit, but it's really a little bit bulky here underneath the panoramic roof. This is also an interesting option. And then here also you get now 2 USB-C chargers, and you can also get seat heating at the rear when you want. One of my favorite Macan features here, how you open the rear hatch underneath the wiper. Interesting button, and there we go. And it's very well usable. So this is a length here, a little bit less than a meter or a little bit less than 40 inches. And the width is a meter or 40 inches. So that's pretty cool. And the height, really substantially here also, with almost 50 centimeters and almost 20 inches. Here underneath, some more space. You hear a little bit here of the, of the radiator, because we're in the studio and the car is powered from underneath. And then to fold the seats, actually you have to go around. Then we can also reach the maximum length and to the seats as we would be driving. Thomas and Jonas here. So here we go, and this is then 68 inches or a little bit, 170 centimeters. And now to our conclusion for the day with the revised Porsche Macan. Well, yes, it's the final time with the combustion engine Macan. That sounds short-term, but on the other hand, there will be a lot of years to come where we can still buy the petrol Porsche Macans here with the beautiful light strip all around the rear. This has also been very significant. Interesting design updates, just rather subtle. Main change, of course, the power upgrades here, and now making the GTS the top sporty model. In stiff sportiness, driving wise and so on, it has been the pinnacle sports model already now, just that the turbo was more powerful as for the figures. Now the GTS also marks the top model, and I think it's also just consistent to do that actually. The GTS then, if you want the most performance, however, you also lose some comfort due to stiffness of the suspension. Also the sport seats are a little bit, more caging in. So my tip for today would actually be go for the Macan S, and you have a 6-cylinder, because a 4-cylinder you can also get with a Cupra Ateca or a VW Tiguan Aura, for example. With the Porsche Cayenne, you can have still a 6-cylinder, so you should go for the 6-cylinder then, if the budget allows it. Go for the Macan S, then you still can go, for example, for an air suspension with a more comfortable setup. And then on the interior, you have a more comfortable seating. And both the Macan and the Macan S animal-free seats are available, and they are also best in climate comfort because you have, a more breathable surface on the inside then. You can also go for the microfiber steering wheel. That's what I would go for. And you see new and interesting colors. Overall, if you think about the future of the Macan, when in 2023 the all-electric Macan will arrive, on the one hand, this model will then be, somewhat outdated. On the other hand, it delivers what it's already delivering right now, and that is a great sporty driving fun for a compact to mid-size SUV, depending on the definition. So a very well usable vehicle, not that bulky as we know from Porsche Cayenne, for example, and really a lot of sporty driving fun. And why not selling this model then here as it stands right now for the next couple of years? Still, the majority of Porsche customers will still go for this one. What's your take on that? Would you go for an all-electric Porsche Macan, or would you rather keep the old one? And what do you think about this transition strategy? Looking forward to see you in the discussion.